Hello and welcome to Friday Night Drives. Now this series will be probably on a Saturday by accident. The idea here is purely that we have a little bit of a discussion about anything, any sort of interesting topics, or maybe this will be more vlog style sometimes, maybe not. We'll kind of see how things go. But it's basically, the idea here is that I will just drive around on a video game. Today we're playing The Crew, and I will ramble on about something in general. If you guys have any topics or anything you're passionate about, or any sort of question things or anything like that at all that you guys want to discuss or you want me to think about, I don't know why you would, but there you go. Drop that in the comments and we'll go over it. Or if there's any things that you like me to read or anything like that, then I'm going to go ahead and do that. I feel like this could be a bit of fun. Well, that was probably a really bad idea. Yeah, I'm going to be playing The Crew. So a couple of disclaimers. I'm really bad at this game. I also have a very dodgy controller. And I'm going to try and read an article from Second Monitor whilst driving, and I'm bad enough at driving when I'm not even talking, so there we go. We'll see how this goes. So if you're here just for cool gameplay, then you're probably in the wrong place, but there you go. So today, I'm going to go and talk about this article that I came across on Twitter. This article was titled, "Should Parents Ever Worry About Minecraft?" Now, 9 times out of 10, this kind of thing pops up and I will just shrug it off. I mean, there are a lot of closed-minded people in the world, a lot of people that are set in their ways, and as far as I'm concerned, that's fine. It doesn't affect me, it doesn't really bother me. I'm not interested in changing people's minds if they aren't interested in having an open mind to anything. I mean, I've heard the argument 1,000 times that Minecraft itself is pointless. I've been asked why I would spend so much time playing it, and I've heard that it is you don't do anything, apparently. It's a waste of time, so that's cool. I really, I'm not interested if people aren't interested in, hearing about why people play it. I don't know how that lady, what happened there. It's probably bad. But yeah, this article was written by a mother, and she has decided to publicly shame her son for enjoying a video game with his friends. Now, I am not a parent. I'd like to get that out of the way first. Nor do I feel like I should ever give parenting advice. I don't feel like I'm in any place to do so. I don't feel like I have any experience to do so, any knowledge to do so. However, I think it should go without saying that not even if you're a parent, just in general, probably don't shame someone for enjoying something, especially at age 9 or 10, or however old this little kid was. Especially as well if you are an editor for the BBC, because that one's kind of, few people read that every now and then, probably not a good idea. But there you go, she's decided that was fine, and she's decided that she also is allowed to then go on to question why anybody's children would play it, and to tell other parents that they should probably worry. Okay, so maybe not in so many words. She has at least mentioned that there might be another side to things, but she seems very, very adamant that it's a problem. Now there were a few parts of this article that kind of bugged me, which is why I feel like bringing it up. But it was mainly the fact that she decided that was a good thing to do that annoyed me the most about this article. So, for example, there was a part where she was confused. Now, she seems to think that playing this game isn't good for children because she feels that they could do something a little bit better with their time. Now, I understand this. I can completely understand. I spend a lot of time playing that video game. Maybe not so much anymore with my work schedule and stuff, but I used to spend an extremely long time playing that game. But that really is down to me. If the worry here is how much time is spent on the game, then at my age, that's my decision, it's my fault. If I spend 16 hours of every day on that game and I lose my job for it, it's my own fault. There is no point in saying that this game is a harm to people, because that has happened, because it's nothing to do with the game. The game is just the thing that I was doing instead. And I feel like with children, this is the exact same. If a child doesn't go to school every day, you don't blame the school. That would just be silly. So if a child plays a game 16 hours of the day, maybe look at the people who are allowing the child then to spend 16 hours a day. Why would he want to do anything else? Why would a child want to do anything else but what they enjoy? And if they're not being told they can't do that, then I can't see why they would want to change what they're doing. And like I said, I'm not a parent. I don't know. I'm not going to say that this is how parents should parent their children, but I feel like there is definitely some responsibility to be had there, and someone kind of needs to hold their hands up a little bit there, in my opinion. I feel like, it's probably something to be looked at. But she also goes on to say that the issue isn't so much the time spent, but it's time wasted because there's nothing beneficial out of it. Which, okay. I mean, there were a few articles this article linked to, and in one of them it did speak about how this child spent a lot of time on this game, but in doing so made a lot of friends at his school, and that's sort of how they bonded, was through this game, and otherwise maybe wouldn't have bonded. And I feel like that's bringing those friendships together. So I mean, is it completely time wasted? It all depends on, it does really depend on what's being done, of course, but not really. Because there seems to be this misconception that the child would be better off reading books all day. Now, it doesn't state, but from the way I've read things and the way I understood what this article was trying to say, it didn't mean reading the dictionary for 16 hours a day. It meant reading, fiction books. I don't see how that's any different. It's just a different medium. I don't see how that is any different from watching films all day or playing games all day or reading stories all day or reading comics all day. There, to me, doesn't seem to be any difference. You are still viewing some form of media in a sense, and I don't think there's much difference in that. I don't see why that one is bad and one isn't. I have a feeling that it's just the generation gap and people being set in their ways and not wanting to accept that this is really what's going on, and this is what people like to do now. And just because it is available now and wasn't available when they were younger doesn't mean that it's bad. That's the gist I got from it. And so I don't know. I mean, that's my thoughts on that. I'm under arrest. I'm not under arrest. Get out. Break test. Nah. But that's something that confused me. I mean, I don't understand how reading is any different. They are both still pieces of fiction. And the argument was that apparently reading allows you to get inside of the heads of other characters, which is fine, but then surely this kid playing on a server with his friends is allowing him to create and experience other people's creativity, much the same way, if not in a more free manner. There's a few things on here that just contradict themselves. For example, she says things like that, and she says how it's no good for children, and then she cites about how it's now being used in an educational format. And she said that this isn't okay, it shouldn't be. And then she quotes about all of these, professors and doctors who agree with using it in education and say that, it's to be. This is not going to end well, is it? Nope. Rip. She talks about how this doctor has said, it's not bad to be using this in educational systems, and it's not bad to be playing it in the first place. But she doesn't seem to be okay with that. But as soon as the one of these doctors are on her side or saying something that goes along with what she's been saying, then it matters. Then it matters that some sort of officials have said it. And I feel like if you're going to be that closed-minded, you shouldn't really have the right to broadcast your opinions in such a public way. That's not to say you shouldn't have the right to have these opinions or tell people these opinions, but maybe not put this on the BBC or somewhere so public. But I think that's a whole separate argument, really. And it was little things like that just kind of confused me as to why this person felt the need to go out of their way to do this. For example, there was a quote about how Lego were bringing out their own Minecraft set. But she opened this with, "Worst of all." How, for a start, I don't understand how that is the worst thing out of this whole, how that's the worst thing that could happen, or how that's bad really in the first place. I mean, you're talking about a toy manufacturer who are manufacturing toys based on something that their target audience like. I mean, I don't see how this is a bad thing. It sounds really, to me, like a really good business decision, and also something pretty exciting for the child, which, again, sounds good in my opinion. But she also finished that quote. Let me just. I'm trying to read it here. This is kind of difficult to read once I do this. But there was a quote just after it. Where is it? Where she said, "What this means for the next generation of engineers brought up in a world where nothing falls over." Now I could be wrong here, but I don't really think that Lego sets of Minecraft are really setting children's expectations for the future, especially those who want to be engineers. I think if it drives a child to become an engineer who then develops a global way to have interlocking parts that work in machines and engines and factories, then that's probably a really good thing. And I can't see the downsides to that really. But I have a very, very, very strong feeling that any child who becomes an engineer after playing with Lego isn't going to be confused when things don't balance on top of each other and stay there. I have a feeling if they've become an engineer, they probably have a good grasp of things like gravity, I would imagine. I mean, I could be wrong, but that sounds sounds fair to assume to me. And then she goes on to talk about a server which has been set up, which I would quite like to give a shout out to anyway. I mean, I personally don't have anybody in this situation that I know, but if anybody does, then I do suggest you point them in the direction. If not, I feel like this does deserve a little bit of praise because there's some very good stuff going on here. There's a wall in my way as well. Unit dead in the water. Mate. I was in the water ages ago. But she talks about a server. Now, the website is quite a long website. Again, it will be in the description, but it is a place to talk about autism and ADHD.co.uk. Now, this is a server that was set up by another mum who has a son who's very much into Minecraft, who also has autism. And she set up this place for him to play with other people online who also have autism. And she said that she finds it a brilliant place for these children to communicate, because they do find it difficult to communicate in other places. And I did it. I finally escaped from the police. It took me so long. And she does pick up on that. And I feel like all she's really done is shed this in bad light. And yeah, the more I think about this person, the more I dislike them. But I think some really good stuff's going on over there. This mother's clearly putting a lot of time and effort into supporting the child in something that they're enjoying, which I think is quite important. Not even just in parenting, but just in general. Supporting people for liking something is much better than shaming them on the internet, maybe on the BBC or something. But she does point out that a couple of doctors have also agreed with this, and they've said that it's a good way for children with autism to experience things and create and to use their brain in different ways that they might not otherwise get the chance for. And I feel like this here could be that benefit over reading books. This could be the real argument to that. I mean, you can argue that maybe it's more. I don't even think you could say it's any better at all. But there does seem to be an argument against it, which is fine, and that's okay. And I'm more open to hearing how that works. But I think the creativity side of it is really the difference here. If you read a book, then it's already been created. You don't really get to speak to the person who's created it and find out why anything is the way it is. You just get to read it. And sure, you can imagine things and you can sort of use your imagination to understand things. You learn spelling and words and things, and that's cool. But the creative side of things is very, very, very different in this situation. And I feel like that is really a big benefit to it. But there you go. That is something from earlier, I guess. But yeah, I'm trying to read this article, and it's kind of difficult to do without having any silent spots. But yeah, I think I'm probably gonna wrap up there. Realistically, I don't really know what sort of conclusions I've come to from it all. I just know that I'm kind of annoyed at the people who come out with this sort of rubbish. But I think overall, just something that I felt like I wanted to talk about, because I don't feel that these people should really have the means to say things like this across certain medias. I do understand that this stuff happens everywhere, and people do like to write personal pieces that aren't facts, and they're more based on opinions, and that's fine. These opinion pieces will always exist, and people will always publish them. I am doing the exact same thing right now. So maybe that's just it. I obviously don't feel like I'm being unreasonable at all. I'm more than happy to go over both sides, and if I feel that this person is correct after going over that, then that's, you know, that's fine. But that's... Oh no, I think we are in the water this time. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we came back. But that's really what it comes down to. So there we go. I'm hoping you guys did enjoy this. I'm hoping that this wasn't as awkward as it was to record. I'm not really used to this kind of setup, and I probably should have a little bit more preparation next time. But there you go. There you go. I am going to call this episode there. So I do hope that you have enjoyed it. Of course, if you have, do go ahead and let me know. If you do have any ideas on things and topics, then please do drop them below, because it would be much appreciated. But yeah, I'll see you next time.